Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. In today's video, we're going to do a comparison between the 2025 Honda Pilot and the 2025 Honda Odyssey and help those of you that may be saying, Tom, I'd like to buy a new vehicle, but I need something that's large. It can haul the family, it can haul cargo, maybe even do a little towing. Which is better, an SUV or a minivan? And for those of you that have asked about the Odyssey and the Pilot, this is the video for you. Obviously, there's a lot of differences between these two models exterior-wise. A little bit more of a sleek look with the Odyssey, a little more of a squared-off look with the Pilot. Now, one thing we're not sure about yet is what we have coming for 2026 with the Pilot. There's a lot of rumors floating around about changes that it may look similar to what we have as far as the new Passport goes, but Honda hasn't said anything yet, so we don't know. In the interest of fair reporting, the Odyssey in today's video is a 2026 model. There are absolutely no differences between 2025 and 2026 with the Odyssey. Now, how about the biggest difference of all, I would say? If you want all-wheel drive, your only option is going to be the Pilot. Although you can go with front-wheel drive with the Pilot, depending on trim level. Some trim levels come standard with all-wheel drive, but no matter the trim level of the Odyssey, you will only have front-wheel drive. And that will make a difference in towing, as the Odyssey can tow a maximum 3,500 pounds. If you go front-wheel drive with the Pilot, you're looking at 3,500 pounds towing. All-wheel drive brings that number up to 5,000 pounds. LED lighting on the front of both models, LED headlights, LED daytime running lights, and something that I know is a big deal to a lot of people. According to comments you leave on my videos, it's what we see down here. Fog lights, both models offering that as well. And collision mitigation. Now, one thing that will also be different here is with the Pilot, you also have traffic jam assist. You do not have traffic jam assist with the Odyssey. And cosmetic differences, I don't know if that's as big of a deal to most people, but obviously the side view mirrors are going to be different where that's concerned, but both will have turn signal indicators built in. Now, this will be dependent on the trim level, but in this case, both do. They're going to be heated and power adjustable. And again, going back to trim level, they can also be power folding, and that's something that I know a lot of you find to be very important. The remotes are going to look somewhat the same and also somewhat different, only based on the fact that you're going to have a couple of additional buttons with the Odyssey because of the fact that you have the power sliding side doors, but everything else is going to be the same. Lock, unlock, remote start, you can open and close your power tailgate, and you will also have the panic button. When it comes to safety features, here's what you're going to have with both models. Honda Sensing will be here, and that's going to include adaptive cruise control, collision mitigation braking, lane keeping assist, and road departure. One thing you will find with the Pilot that you won't find with the Odyssey is going to be traffic jam assist. If you need it, you can have the power tailgate on both models. And depending on the trim level, you can also have the feature where you can just kick your foot under the bumper and it will automatically open. But as far as configurability goes, for cargo space, the Odyssey definitely wins out because there is so much going on here that you don't have with the Pilot. Now, with the Pilot, depending on the trim level, you can remove the middle seat in the middle row right there, but you cannot remove the outboard seats. However, here with the Odyssey, you can remove all of those seats. And then back here, you're not only going to have additional cargo space right here within this area of the floor when these seats are not stowed. These are the stowing magic seats. There's the instruction right there. As far as the label goes, it tells you how to do this. It's actually very easy, but here's the thing. All you have to do is pull on that. A little bit harder to do one-handed, especially on the left-hand side over here, but I'll show you how this works if I can get my hand inside of that strap right there. And then we push that down. There we go. Ultimately, you will have the entirety of this interior for cargo, whatever it is you need to do. That's one thing I really like about the Odyssey is the fact that it is so versatile. You got your 12-volt power outlet right there. You got storage right here. You can use it as a family hauler. You can use it to haul cargo. You could actually outfit this area back here if you wanted to with shelving or whatever you need for tools and different things, nuts and bolts, if you're doing some kind of service work for people, repairing things, whatever it is. It's practically endless. A little bit more storage in this area back here. For those of you that haven't looked at the Odyssey in a few years, know it no longer offers the Honda vac. Unfortunately, that has been gone for a few years now. But a very configurable vehicle, and something else that will tremendously set these two apart is the size of the doors. You have the power sliding side doors on the driver and passenger sides, and a much wider opening. So not only does it make it easier for passengers to enter and exit, but it also makes it easier if you need to put something in. If you're just going to put something in this area as opposed to in the back, that's easier to put that in and get it back out. All of those great features are here. A very, very versatile vehicle, to say the very least. And you can see that you can recline the seats. All of these seats in the second and third row will recline, at least to a degree. That's going to be the same situation with the Pilot. How about the differences in cargo capacity? With the Odyssey, we're looking at 38.1 to 91 to 155.8 cubic feet of cargo space. With the Pilot, we're looking at 18.6 to 48.5 up to 87 cubic feet. Once again, all of the seats will recline. Now you can lower these rear seats down like that, and you can obviously do the same thing with the seats right there. You can also, as I said earlier, remove the middle seat, but that is the only one that is removable. Another difference is going to be the spare tire location. While both models come with a spare tire, the spare tire for the Pilot is located underneath the rear of the vehicle back here. I have a tutorial on how to gain access to that and remove it if you need to use it. With the Odyssey, it's a little bit more challenging. I have another video on this subject as well. It's located right here underneath the floor. I'll show you in a tutorial also how to get to that tire and make use of it if you need to. If your Odyssey or Pilot has a power tailgate and you need to change the height, all you're going to do is move it into position. Right there it says hold to set height. You hold the button down right here until you hear the beeps. I'll let you hear it. And then when you close the tailgate and open it back up, it will be set to that height where you just changed it to whatever it is you need. It's that easy to deal with. Under the hood of each model is a 3.5 liter V6. Both are naturally aspirated. However, you make 280 horsepower here with the Odyssey. With the dual overhead cam version in the Pilot, only a 5 horsepower difference, 285. Both share the same torque numbers at 262 pounds-feet, and both have a 10-speed automatic transmission. If you're that person that says, Tom, I want the largest gas tank possible, which model do I go with? You definitely need to choose the Odyssey. The Pilot has the 18.5 gallon gas tank. The Odyssey has the 19.5 gallon gas tank. Now, speaking of that information, the gas tank size, how about your MPGs? Here on the Odyssey, 19 city, 28 highway, 22 combined, and 4.5 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. And how about the Pilot? 19 city, 27 highway, 22 combined, and 4.5 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. And how about this information? Now, this is based on the 2025 models base pricing. I'm going to give that to you. There are multiple trim levels to choose from. Obviously, the pricing is going to go up from here. But if you go with the Odyssey, you're looking at $42,795. If you go with the Pilot, the base price for 2025 is $40,200. And the outboard seats in the middle row are going to move back and forth so you can increase or decrease leg space for rear seat passengers. And when it comes to the third row on the Odyssey, over here on the left-hand side, we'll have the cup holders and the air conditioning vent, also another 12-volt power outlet. If you go over here to the passenger side or the right-hand side, a little bit of a difference. While you still have the cup holders and the air conditioning vent, we have a couple of USB ports right here. To gain access to the third row with the Odyssey, we just use the lever right there. A little bit easier here on the Pilot as there is a button right here. We push that button, the seat will get up and out of the way. And here's what we're going to have in the back seat of this area. You will have the same setup as far as your air conditioning vent goes, cup holders, and USB port, and that's going to be the same on both sides. There is a little bit more leg space in the Odyssey. However, you can adjust these seats. As you can see, same thing as we had on the Odyssey. In the middle row, these outboard seats will slide back and forth. The center console is lower in the Odyssey. You can see you have the cup holders there, and there are some USB ports down there as well. We'll find the air conditioning controls above the power sliding door on the right-hand side here in the Odyssey for the third zone of climate control. And let me go over here and show you something that we also have in both vehicles will be the shades that can be put in place, the privacy shades. Pretty easy to deal with as far as that goes. Rear seat pockets for storage. And there is the conventional size sunroof that you will find in the Odyssey. With the Pilot, the air conditioning controls on the rear of the center console, as you can see, will also have USB connectivity down there, although you don't have the cup holders up here. But I don't think that's too big of a deal for most people. You also have the shade right here, as I was mentioning. That's going to be there. You can put that in place if you need to. And the upper and the lower door bins. We also find the similar door bins to that, a little bit more space actually with the Odyssey. Rear seat pockets are here. We'll find the little section right there inside of the rear seat pocket that allows for storing a phone or whatever will fit. And that other big difference is going to be right here, the panoramic sunroof. And you'll find a lot of typical features here, such as seat memory and adjustment spheres, side view mirrors. You can lock and unlock the windows and the doors, obviously. Everything there. You can open and close your power tailgate, turn traction control on and off. And you have a tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. We adjust that right there by dropping that lever, and then you can adjust the steering wheel as you want to. Steering wheel mounted controls, adaptive cruise control, everything for the radio. You can even go here and make changes to the gauge. See what you have there as far as your driver's display goes. I should say gauges, but I'm sure you know what I mean. But you can see what's there. 9-inch touchscreen, pretty easy to deal with, pretty easy to figure out. Now, this particular model, depending on what trim level you go with, if you go with the higher trim levels, there will be a button right here that allows you to see all of the different camera views. In this case, we only have the multi-view rear view camera. It will be the same on both models in today's video. They're going to look identical, but depending on the trim level you go with the Pilot, you'll actually have side view cameras. You'll have the trail cam with the Trail Sport. You'll also have your front view camera, something that isn't available on the Odyssey, at least as of the 2026 model year. Not sure what's going to happen in 2027. It's a little too soon to speculate about that, at least based on what Honda has not said, because they haven't said anything. Here's the control for opening and closing the sunroof and the power shade. You do have that power shade right there. That is a big difference as well. You have the manual shade for the Odyssey. And we have the conversation mirror, something that a lot of you would like to see in more Hondas, according to the comments you left. And you also have your sunglass holder right there inside, so a bit of a multitasker where that is concerned. Your dual zone climate control with your heated seats for the driver and the passenger in this case, wireless charging, a couple more USB options, and a 12-volt power outlet. And both models will have the push button shifters. Some people like it, some people don't, but a huge difference will be the overall design of the center console. We have a lot more space right here with the pass-through with the Odyssey. I'll show you that shortly. Drive mode selector, hill start assist. You have brake hold mode right there if you need to use that. Turn your auto stop start off right there. There's brake hold. I'm getting ahead of myself. Yes, you can laugh at me instead of with me on that one. Power parking brake, and we also have the nice deep center console. Something I do like here that Honda has on the Pilot that is not on the Odyssey is the additional space here above the glove box that allows for more storage. And then we'll have our glove box down there. Nice large armrests and door bends on the front doors, just like we saw on the rear. And here in the Odyssey is the big difference I was telling you about. That nice large pass-through, a lot more storage. You're going to have your USB connectivity and another 12-volt power outlet right there. Cup holders, your wireless charging pad, and a big difference in the design of the center console overall. Still plenty of room, a lot of space within that area, but you don't have the typical flip-up lid. That reminds me more of a garage door than anything else. And like I said, you don't have that extra space above the glove box, but I don't think that's too big of a deal for most people. We're going to have, again, the conversation mirror and the sunglass holder right there, and the control right here for our power sunroof with the manual shade. On the driver's side door, you know what tier basically. Now, it is obviously going to be a different look because, well, it's an older interior. No major updates for the last few years, and everything here for your seat memory. You can open and close both power sliding side doors, your power rear door, the tailgate, turn your traction control on and off right there, depending on what you need to do. And once again, we can drop the lever here to adjust the steering wheel. Now you will notice a fairly similar look with the driver's display. Again, everything here in the same place, at least. A little different look with the steering wheel, however, but everything's in the same place as far as adaptive cruise control, everything for adjusting the radio. We can push the button right there, the home button, and go through the same things here that we saw on the Pilot. And as I mentioned earlier, this is the only camera, regardless of trim level you go with on the Odyssey, you're going to have. But it is here, that's good to know, the multi-view rear view camera, push button shifter. You have all of your different driving modes you can select here. Auto stop start, I'm not going to get that wrong this time. There it is. And then you have snow mode, econ, all that stuff is here, and your 3 stages of heated seats. And quite a bit of space in all 3 rows, especially the first 2 with both models. We start our test drive with the Odyssey. Not meant to be a rocket ship, not meant to be a hot rod, although it will chirp the tires a little bit if you floor it from a dead stop, but not something I would recommend doing too often. But it will get up and go when you need it to. You do have your different driving modes depending on what you need to deal with. Tons of adjustability for the driver between the seat and the steering wheel. One thing I did not mention earlier in the video, you do have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. That goes with both models. And everything is easy to learn and use here. The gas pedal and brake pedal, very easy to manage. And I feel like I could be comfortable for a long time here in the driver's seat on a long road trip, something that's always a benefit. If you own something like this, most likely that's something you're going to be doing, is a lot of driving, whether it's over the course of several hours or maybe over the course of a few hours or so, just making a lot of stops and doing things like that, depending on your situation. Now, we'll see how we do with our turning radius right here. Actually pretty good. So there we go with that. Ride quality does seem to be good, at least from the front seat. I have not had a chance to ride in the 2nd or 3rd row of the Odyssey, so I can't necessarily give you that information. But overall, it's a good vehicle to drive. It's not really a thrilling experience, but I don't think anybody buys a minivan for that purpose. But as far as practical use goes, it definitely gets the job done. And while it doesn't look as modern as some Honda models out there, you do have some of those great features as far as your screen goes and all that good stuff. We also have our blind spot monitoring, but that is not built into the side view mirrors. It's actually built into this area right here. Something we didn't talk about earlier in the video. That is a difference between the two. So if you're wanting that in your side view mirror, well, you either have to buy the Pilot or you have to wait for, at the very earliest, 2027 with the Odyssey. But overall, I'd say it's a good choice for those who want what I would consider to be a great multitasker. One thing that does separate the Odyssey apart from the competition is that while the Toyota Sienna, you cannot remove the middle row seats, you can remove the seats with the Kia Carnival, but they're a lot more challenging to get in and out, at least based on my experience. I've done this a few more times here with the Odyssey, but I think it's a little bit easier to deal with as far as getting the seats in and out, especially putting them back in. And here we go in the Pilot. Now, one thing you will notice about the Pilot is that it does have a little bit better handling characteristics than does the Odyssey. And obviously, since you can go all-wheel drive, that provides some versatility that the Odyssey doesn't have. While I do believe there is a nice amount of versatility with the Odyssey, one thing you can't do is have that peace of mind of all-wheel drive when you're dealing with low traction situations such as snow and ice or whatever the situation may be where you need that. So that's something to obviously consider. A very comfortable ride quality, plenty of room for driver and passengers here. And again, basically the same thing as what we had with the Odyssey, where the first 2 rows will have the most space. Now, I will say that the Odyssey seems to be a little more spacious in the 3rd row than does the Pilot. Now, something to consider, but that's also when it's a good idea to just hop into these vehicles for yourselves and see what you actually think about it, instead of taking my word for it, because you might get back there and say, you know what, Tom, I think that both have plenty of room, but the Odyssey definitely does it for me, or the Pilot does it for me. So, all right, here we go. Turning radius, about the same. and acceleration is as well. You can get down the road well with each model, like I say, not meant to be really fast or lightning quick or neck snapping as far as the performance goes. They're meant to be good, reliable vehicles, and that's exactly what they are. Just as much adjustability built into the driver's seat and the steering wheel as we had with the Odyssey, here with the Pilot. So no matter your height, you should be able to adjust things to where you're nice and comfortable. You can see well, no problems there. That one difference that I did mention in the Odyssey test drive that you will find is going to be the fact that the location of blind spot monitoring, or should I say the blind spot indicator that lights up and lets you know if there's something in your blind spot, is in the side view mirror on the Pilot. In my opinion, that's the better location, because that's where I'm going to look before I would look into this area, as you would have to do with the Odyssey. But some of you might say, hey, it doesn't really make a difference to me. Whatever the case is, not a problem at all. Everything easy to deal with here, easy to learn and use, easy to get to. That's always a good thing. Overall, both are a great choice as far as a vehicle with 3 rows, plenty of space for driver, passengers, and potential cargo. Easy controls to use, easy to see out of. But again, you do have some things here with the Pilot that you don't have with the Odyssey, such as the cameras that I was telling you about earlier, depending on trim level. And there we go. The comparison between the 2025 Honda Pilot, the 2025 Honda Odyssey, giving you the differences and similarities, as there are a few in both areas. It really comes down to personal preferences and the needs that you have for you, your family, whatever your situation is, maybe your business, I don't know, it could be a lot of different things that causes you to say one is better than the other. I'm always curious to receive your feedback. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends at Holmes Honda for loaning me these 2 models for the day so I could tell you all about them. And a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That's very helpful to me. Please be sure to subscribe and share this video on your timelines on social media so other people can see it. If you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.